Beloved saints, today's 5-minute message of redemptive history is about Hazeroth during the 40 years in the wilderness from the second book of Redemptive History series, The Covenant of the Torch. When we look in Numbers 33 verse 17, during the 40 years in the wilderness, the 13th campsite that the Israelites stayed in was Hazeroth. Hazeroth is located 35 miles northeast of Mount Sinai, and the meaning of its name is enclosure, village, or settlement. First, when Moses took a Cushite woman as his wife at Hazeroth, Miriam and Aaron spoke against Moses. When we look in Numbers 11:35, 12 verse 1, it says that the Israelite people arrived at Hazeroth. At that time, Moses took a Cushite woman as his wife. A Cushite is a descendant of Ham from Cush, a region south of Ethiopia. In such a way, Moses married a Gentile woman as his wife. And so, Miriam, the sister of Moses, and Aaron, the brother of Moses, spoke against him. In Numbers 12 verse 2, it says, "And they said, Has the Lord indeed spoken only through Moses? Has he not spoken through us as well?" Everyone, when we examine carefully the words that Miriam and Moses used to speak against Moses, it wasn't just about taking a Gentile woman as his wife that they were complaining about. That was only used to find fault with Moses. What truly made them discontent was the authority of Moses as the leader. Aaron and Miriam claimed equality with Moses, saying that God spoke to them also. When God heard this, he suddenly summoned Miriam, Aaron, and Moses to the tent of meeting. Then he called Aaron and Miriam aside from Moses and explained to them clearly how Moses was different from them. In Numbers 12, verses 6-8, it says, "Listen to my words. When there is a prophet among you, I, the Lord, reveal myself to them in visions. I speak to them in dreams. But this is not true of my servant Moses. He is faithful in all my house. With him I speak face to face, clearly and not in riddles. He sees the form of the Lord. Why then were you not afraid to speak against my servant Moses?" In other words, the revelations that Aaron and Miriam receive are indirect, whereas the revelations that Moses received are direct. No one could compare with Moses in terms of his closeness to God and the authority of the Word. Aaron and Miriam were leaders of the Israelites, but it was clear that they were appointed as close subordinates so that they could help Moses. In other words, there was a feeling of an enclosure around Aaron and Miriam as Moses' helpers. Nevertheless, they overstepped their authority by joining forces and attempting to act as the leader of the Israelites. Thus, this lesson was taught at Hazeroth, which means enclosure. Beloved saints, we are all equal in the Lord. However, we all have our own role or part in fulfilling God's redemptive history. Thus, let us faithfully carry out the work entrusted to us by God, just as Moses did. Let us look at the face of God and dwell under his protection. Second, as a result of overstepping their authority, Miriam became leprous and was outside the camp for 7 days. When we look in Numbers 12, verses 9-10, it says that the anger of the Lord burned against Aaron and Miriam. Miriam was the one who took the lead in going against Moses, so she became leprous. In Leviticus 13, verses 45-46, it says that a person with leprosy has to live outside the camp. So, as the law states, Miriam was isolated outside the camp until she got better. Fortunately, Moses prayed to God, so the duration was only for 7 days. But for those 7 days, the Israelite could not move on from Hazeroth. And so the Israelite people were delayed because of Miriam. Beloved saints, let us be able to fulfill the duties and mission God has given us by being thankful in all things. If we are not able to do so, not only is there a punishment, but we need to know that the will of God is being delayed because of us. So today, let us do our best to fulfill redemptive history wherever we are. I bless in the name of the Lord.